Konnichiwa. I made it back from Japan, and I can't wait to tell you about it. I have so much that I want to say. I just hope I have enough storage space. But I will start off by talking about the jet lag? Or do I want to talk about the culture shock? Let's talk about the culture shock really quick, okay? I don't know what was the biggest culture shock, going to Japan or coming back home, because both were pretty shocking. Then there was the jet lag. Going there wasn't bad at all. Coming back though, I'm still waiting to get my sleep schedule back on track. It's been brutal. Sleep deprivation, I do not recommend. Toby, what the heck are you doing? I brought a chair out here for you and everything. God bless you. If you'd stop eating grass, though, maybe that wouldn't happen. One thing Japan did was get me addicted to matcha. I have some matcha here in my Ortbo mug. Watch Severance. If you haven't watched Severance yet, what are you doing? Stop watching this video. Go watch Severance. Come on, there's like 2 seasons out now. You got plenty of content. Also, my cup here says, "Because I knew you, I have been changed for good." Isn't that sweet? I love Wicked. Because I went to Japan, I have been changed for good. And it was my first time, and let me tell you, exactly, Toby, it was overwhelming. It was extremely overwhelming. Toby, if you're gonna talk, how about just don't? How about just zip it? Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, www.zipit.com. Since Toby has no intention of sitting in this chair, I feel like it looks kind of weird just having it here, so, maybe, should I keep it there? Should I take it away? I don't know. Toby, do you have any intention of using this chair? Thank you. I try to do something nice and thoughtful for him, and he ain't having it. He wants nothing to do with it. 1 second while I wait for the sirens to stop. I hope you get him. Whoever it is, I hope you get him. Actually, I'm pointing at you. Oh gosh, that almost just... Okay. First introduction back home. There was a car chase. Welcome home. Here you are. A wholesome police car chase. There were literally like 4 cop cars chasing after one Mini Cooper. Who the heck is in a Mini Cooper running away from the cops? Anyway, back to my life-changing Japan trip. I want to talk about my first moment stepping foot on Japanese soil. Okay. Got to the airport. Got out of the airport. Found myself in a place called Shinjuku Station, and I apologize in advance for my pronunciation. It's not going to be very good. I think it was Shinjuku Station. Anyway, it's like the mecca for chaos. Yes, it was Shinjuku train station during rush hour. Long story short, I had a straight up panic attack. That was the first thing I did when I got to Japan. Girl, I almost got back on the airplane, went right home. No. It was okay. Everything was great from then on, because I discovered that if you can survive Shinjuku Station during rush hour, you can get through anything. Seriously though, there is nothing quite like a mini panic attack to set your trip off on the right foot. Hello, buddy. Oh, now you want up on the chair. But you want up on my chair, not the chair that I set out for you. You want to try that chair again? You want to try that chair again? You can't have my chair because you a thick boy, and there's not enough room. Yes, here you go. There we go. That's my boy. Do you have anything to add to my story before I move on? Wonderful. Matcha break? You know that Christmas movie, The Polar Express? It's one of my favorite movies ever, and definitely one of my favorite Christmas movies. You know that song where, oh god, what's his name? Tom Hanks Tom freaking Hanks. I should have known this. But anyway, Tom Hanks sings a fabulous song about hot chocolate. Hot, 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 hot chocolate. But for me after Japan, now it's matcha. I love how I have a script for this video and I'm not following the script. Anyway, I have wanted to visit the mystical and beautiful country of Japan for such a long time. I always found the language, the culture, the people, the history, the social culture, the geography, oh my gosh, the nature, all of it. I have always found all of it extremely fascinating. And I really wanted to experience it for myself. Want the ball? You want the ball. Go get the ball. I love Japan, but I am also happy to be home. I did miss my dog very much. Oh, he wants me to throw it again. Ha! Okay. Seriously, we need to get through this video. So yeah, I've always found Japan to be extremely fascinating. And trust me, this whole trip did not disappoint. Going into the trip, though, the thing I was the most excited for was probably the food. I am a foodie. And actually, I have always had an answer to this hypothetical question prepared just in case anyone would ever ask me this, but no one ever asks me. What's the one food that I would choose to eat for the rest of my life and forego everything else? Any guesses? Anyone? Any guesses? Sushi. Duh. So simple, so delicious. Rice and fish. Sometimes a little wasabi. It is glorious, but I love sushi. I love sushi so much. You know that saying, you are what you eat? Well, if it's true, that means I am 90% sushi, 10% Shake Shack, because I did have that over there for the first time and it was delicious, so I had it more and it was still good. I very much enjoy Shake Shack. But enough about me falling in love with Shake Shack in Japan. Let's get to the fun stuff. The first stop in my trip was Tokyo. I didn't get to see as much of the city as I would have liked because just like the city of Tokyo itself, my trip itinerary was go, 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 constant chaos. But I did get to ease into the craziness with a beautiful and relaxing stroll through a place called Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden. I think I got that right. I did get it right, yay. And here's where I'm going to insert some beautiful footage, if I have any, of the garden. I followed up my visit to the garden with a visit to my first ever shrine. Walking through it was so peaceful and such an interesting contrast to the hustle and bustle of Tokyo. But it was really cool seeing all the people walking to work stop into the shrine briefly to start their entire day off with a prayer. And of course I did the same, and I prayed for no more panic attacks during Japan's rush hour, and I will have you know that I got what I asked for. But as I was exploring the shrine, I noticed that there were tons of these little wooden prayer tablets, and as I was reading them, I noticed that almost all of them asked for peace, love, good health for themselves and their family members, and all sorts of other wholesome things. And I had this really cool and kind of emotional realization that it really doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what language you speak. Most of us don't actually want the superficial things in life, like billionaire status, fame, expensive cars, giant houses. We just want a fulfilling and healthy life for ourselves and our loved ones. Sure, every once in a while I would find a little prayer tablet that wanted, a promotion at work. But, I'm not saying that's bad. That's, you want what you want. Everyone wants something different in life, and that's okay. But an overwhelming majority of the prayers that I read just wanted a healthy life, and they wanted as much time with their loved ones as they could get. I'm gonna cry. Japan really, really put a lot of things in perspective for me. Oh, also, I have a really interesting story. I mean, I find it interesting. Some people might not find it interesting, but I'm going to tell this story anyway. When our plane landed in Japan, as we were getting ready to get off the plane, there was this girl in front of me who turned around, looked at me, and goes, "Hey, I don't know if you've seen an earbud laying around, but if you do, it's mine." And I thought to myself, this is interesting, because during the flight, I think I bent down to grab my charger for my Steam Deck, and I looked down and there was like this little white thing, and it kind of resembled an earbud, but it kind of looked dirty. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not, Anyway, didn't think anything of it, completely ignored it until she asked me about said earbud. Then I was like, oh my gosh, it was. I knew exactly where it was. I pick it up, I give it to her, and her face was just utterly amazed that number one, that she found it, and that we found it so quickly. Anyway, fast forward to arriving at this shrine that I was just at. It was like 7 a.m. We walk up to the shrine. I'm taking some photos, and I turn to ask the person that I was traveling with. I asked them if they also wanted a photo in front of this shrine. But I heard a completely different voice respond to me. They were like, "Oh yeah, sure, I guess." And I was so confused because I was like, that's not the voice I was expecting. Guess who it was? Earbud Girl. I couldn't believe it because, we were in Tokyo. There's a lot of districts in Tokyo. Tokyo is a huge city. They didn't even have to be in Tokyo. They could have gone to a completely different city. I don't know. It was so funny too, because when we both recognized each other, we had a Spider-Man moment of like, wait, it's you, it's me? Yeah, it's you, I know you. But the fact that Earbud Girl from the flight was at that exact same shrine at 7 a.m. and also happened to be close enough to answer a question that wasn't actually directed at them. It was one of those moments of pure serendipity, chance, whatever. But I was like, wow, what a small world. Of all the people on the flight, too, that I could have passed by and thought nothing of, Earbud Girl. Hi, Earbud Girl. I wonder what she's doing right now. I hope she's having a great time. I'm just happy I got her other AirPod back, because those are expensive, y'all. Next up is an experience that I am so excited to not only talk about, but show you, because this was easily one of the greatest highlights of the entire trip. There's a lot of highlight moments, but this is the first one, and it's one of the most memorable. It's real life Mario Kart, baby. This go-kart tour is one of the funnest excursions I have ever been on. We literally got to drive go-karts. Like, you heard me. Go freaking karts around Tokyo. But me being me, I kept referring to it as Mario Kart, minus slipping on other people's banana peels. Speaking of littering, though, one of the things that blew my mind as I was driving and just walking around Tokyo in general, there is no trash anywhere. And if there is, it gets taken care of very quickly. Seriously, there was hardly a speck of dirt or a piece of trash to be found anywhere. America, take notes. My God, the pollen must be crazy right now. But I had the time of my life zipping and zooming around Akihabara. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we got to see so many really cool landmarks along the way. Everyone we passed by on the street, tourists and locals alike, everyone was watching us, smiling, laughing, taking photos and videos, waving. It was so fun. Not gonna lie, I kind of felt like a mini celebrity with all the attention we were getting. Also, this entire go-kart experience was way outside of my comfort zone. As an American, I am used to driving on the right side of the road, and Japan is over here forcing me to switch it up a little. I was scared that I would forget what side of the road I needed to drive on, and then I would smash into somebody or something. But what happened was I smashed this joyride, because I didn't turn it into a competition. No, I did not. Not at all. I was able to get used to driving on the other side of the road really quickly, and by the end I was zipping around like a pro. And for the record, I did have to get an international driver's license to even do this, but at least in the US, it was as simple as going to a AAA, signing some photos, signing some papers, taking some photos, paying like $20, and boom, I am legally allowed to play real-life Mario Kart in Japan. If anyone's interested, I will try to remember to leave all the information for the specific go-kart tour that I did down below in the description. If anyone out there watching finds themselves in Tokyo one day, wanting to do something extremely fun and memorable, I highly recommend checking out this tour. I know I'll never forget it. We ended our first night with a food tour of Tokyo. Well, specifically Shibuya. Shibuya! What a fun word to say. We ate at like 5 different restaurants, and we ate everything from sushi to ramen to something that I had never even heard of before, much less ate. But it was something called, what was that? I don't know. It was something called okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki. Basically, it's a delicious pancake full of various ingredients. Ooh. We need to bring that to America, guys. You have no idea. It's so good. Maybe there are okonomiyaki restaurants somewhere in the US, but I know I haven't seen any. It's a great business idea. Don't take it. It's mine. Mine. My own. My precious. Sorry, I had to slip in a Lord of the Rings reference somewhere so I don't die. I hope this doesn't come out the wrong way. Sometimes I feel like returning back to America. feels like stepping foot in Mordor. One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. I'm sorry. Enough. I need to be stopped. Anyway, the food was delicious, but I expected nothing less from Japan. Also, enjoy this random footage of me deodorizing myself with mist in public. Right, I don't really have an explanation for this, but just enjoy the footage. Actually, I think there was kind of an explanation to these, and I could be wrong, but this is what I remember, or at least what I interpreted. So there's these all-night gaming internet cafes, which I would never leave, ever. Like, I would rent a room and, like, you would never see me again. There's also these things called, oh gosh, are they called pachinkos? They're like arcades for adults, I think. Pachinko is a mechanical game originating in Japan that is used as an arcade game and much more frequently for gambling. Okay, so I was kind of correct, yes, but there is this other, excuse me, motorcycle, how very rude of you. But yes, there is, it has a lot to do with gambling. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that outside of these pachinko places, there's these deodorizer stands. And my understanding is that for all the people who like to pull all-nighters in Tokyo, you could just step in one of these capsules, spin around, and have this wonderful smelling mist sprayed all over you. That's it. Seriously, guys, you have no idea how mind-blowing this trip was for me. Most of what I'm going to tell you in this video, this was all brand new to me. I felt like a child who had just gone to Disney World for the first time. But walking around Tokyo at night, while smelling good, of course, was one of the things that I was looking forward to the most because, at least for me, whenever I think of Tokyo, I think of the iconic neon signs, the hustle and bustle, and the fashion. Oh my goodness, the fashion. Some of you guys may not know this about me, but you really should, okay? One of my biggest passions in life has always been fashion, clothing, and not from a place of vanity or materialism, but from a place of creativity, self-expression. But also it's just really fun to play around with different combinations of clothing and just see what you can create with color blocking and layering and so on and so forth. Okay. This is not a video about fashion, but ooh, if you let me, I could talk about it forever. But all of the fashion that I saw in Tokyo left me inspired to go home and spruce up my own wardrobe, and let me tell you, I stimulated Tokyo's economy, and I really don't want to look at my bank account, so I won't. And before I talk any more about Tokyo, please enjoy this footage that I got of a cat on a billboard. Not me tearing up while editing that part. No, I miss Japan so much. What's funny to me is that everyone calls New York the city that never sleeps, but I feel like anyone who says that has never been to Tokyo. Every single morning, there were people literally laying around on the sidewalks, still drunk. I distinctly remember there was one guy just slumped over like this, just snoring so loud. And there were countless people walking in circles, just stumbling, just in circles, just walking around. I don't like to stare. I don't want to be rude, but I couldn't help but just watch. It was so freaking funny. And I swear I even saw two people passed out on the sidewalk spooning each other. Just in public. It was amazing. I can't stop laughing when, oh God, don't poop on me. Thank you. I can't stop laughing whenever I think about it. I love Tokyo. I love it there. I really, really felt at home. But what was crazy to me was, even with all of the overnight chaos, every single night, and being in the heart of Tokyo, not once was my sleep disturbed by noise outside. I think a major reason why that was number one, the social culture. People are just very polite and considerate of other people. I feel like Tokyo in general really focuses on the pedestrian experience. Everything is close by. Anything you need, food, water, I mean, just the vending machines alone. Like, there's a vending machine for every single thing you can ever think of. So anything you need is a 5 or 10 minute walk away, no matter where you are in the city. That was something that I found myself wishing we had in the US. We don't really emphasize walkability here. You basically need a car. But I realized, being in Tokyo, that of course there are cars, there are roads, absolutely, but there's a lot less, and also the roads are not car focused. There's a good balance between walking, biking, and driving a car. And I feel like that balance leads to less noise pollution. And don't even get me started on their public transit system. The trains, the buses, the Shinkansens, aka bullet trains, y'all. Amazing. We need that. We need that. Like, if America one day was like, you know what, we're gonna build an entire bullet train system between all of the major cities here, take my money. Like, literally take my money. Take my money. Even though there's not a lot of it left, because I spent all of it on clothing in Tokyo, but like, that's whatever's left, just take it. Take it. Give me any reason to just sell my car. I don't want it. I'm not a car person. I would bullet train everywhere. America, please, please. If I ran for president and won, you bet your sweet butt cheeks, guys, we're getting bullet trains and we're getting Toto toilets. Oh my God, guys, Toto toilets, toilets. The toilets in Japan, the toilets in Japan, incredible. Incredible. Some of them, the lids will open automatically the moment you walk into the porcelain pleasure palace, as I like to call them. Heated seats, even in the public ones. Couldn't believe that. Built-in bidets. Most of the toilets will play nature sounds to make it easier to go. Some of the toilets even have self-cleaning wands in the bowl. Obviously, when you're done, you have to flush. But you don't have to flush it yourself. It'll automatically do that for you. I pray for the day that the Toto becomes the standard, the porcelain standard in the United States. But I don't know if that'll ever happen in my lifetime. But going back to how quiet Tokyo was, and I'm speaking on this because it was so noticeable. To me, it felt like a great example and demonstration of Japan's well-known social culture revolving around respect, R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Even in the most crowded cities like Tokyo, one can go out with their friends, stay up all night, have as much fun as they want, and not disturb people who might be suffering from jet lag, like me. I loved Tokyo so much, and it was such a wonderful introduction to Japan as a whole. It was bright, it was colorful, it was nonstop, and the people were so nice, which made a huge difference to someone like me who had never been to Japan before and had no idea what to expect. And like I said before, getting there was rough with the jet lag, but coming home has been even tougher. But I think it also has to do with something I like to call post-Japan depression, which is a thing. Another funny story is that when I got home, the depression was real, and I was Googling it. I was like, depressed after visiting Japan. And seriously, the moment I Googled it, somebody had just created an entire Reddit thread talking about it. They were in Japan the exact time that I was, and they felt exactly the same way when they returned home. So it's not just me. Maybe it was the jet lag, or maybe it was the post-Japan depression, but I think leaving behind the Toto toilets was the worst. Guys, guess whose birthday's coming up this month in June? I'm a Gemini. Shout out to all the Geminis out there. It's okay to be scatterbrained and feel like you're crazy every single day and feel like you can't focus on anything ever. And gift ideas? What? Toto toilet? You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. But, I mean, if some of you guys out there are being serious when you say that I'm your favorite YouTuber, I mean, I'm just kidding. You guys don't have to buy me a Toto toilet. Unless, I can't believe I am only just now getting to day 2 of my trip. And let me tell you, it was huge. I mean, literally huge. As in, we visited Mount Fuji. Look, there it is. We started by driving all the way up. That butterfly almost just took me out. Anyway, we drove all the way up to the base of the mountain, and it was awesome. And I use that word in the purest sense, like it was awesome to be in the presence of something so powerful and majestic. There were also a few shrines that we got to see, and of course, there was a gift shop. Next, we drove to a stunning park that had a restaurant and a garden with an equally gorgeous view of Mount Fuji. Next, we went to the Hakone Ropeway, which dangled us over top a huge sulfur quarry that, yes, smelled exactly how it looked. Plus, we got to see another gorgeous perspective of Mount Fuji. Then we ended our tour with a pirate ship ride across Lake Ashi, which is pretty famous for torii gates and yet more incredible views. I think you'll start to notice a theme with Japan. It is full of natural beauty and architecture that will literally take your breath away. Side tangent, but I think another major reason that I feel so connected to Japan, they love Star Wars. There was Star Wars merch everywhere. Next up, we visited a place called Manza Onsen. Onsen meaning hot springs. Jin Sakai Booty Cheeks where, though? Ghost of Tsushima. If you know, you know. I didn't get too much footage from this part of my trip because, natural hot springs, everyone's kind of in their birthday suit. But I also used this part of my trip to fully unplug, relax, and enjoy the gorgeous mountains and hiking trails. When they call Japan the land of the rising sun, they aren't kidding. Emphasis on the sun. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hiroshima is easily one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to in my entire life. With all the people around, it's surprisingly quiet, peaceful. Everyone is so nice, and I have never seen so many bicycles in my entire life. I'm probably gonna end up back here one day to live forever. And that's if I make it to forever. Seriously though, the amount of times I almost got hit by a bike on this trip, I'm surprised I made it home. We had about 48 hours in Hiroshima, and it was our first real taste of freedom because we had 0 activities planned, and it was glorious. We walked around the memorial park, and let's just say it was extremely emotional. What was inspiring was seeing how a city like Hiroshima could experience something so unbelievably tragic and still turn it into a commitment of love, forgiveness, and peace. Walking around such a surprisingly spacious and green city, you could sense that harmonious energy everywhere. And it's a feeling that definitely stuck with me. Alright guys, wipe them tears, no more crying, because we just arrived at yet another highlight of the trip, Miyajima Island, which, speaking of, what are you still doing here? Come on, Editor Miranda, cut to the cool shit. Oh my freaking gosh. I'm moving to Japan. That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Can I pet you? Hi, don't chew my fingers, please. Don't you? Oh, hello! Hello! Oh my gosh, I wish I could take you home with me, but I don't think I could fit you in my suitcase. This is the greatest day of my life. I don't have anything for you, sorry. I got to pet wild deer. They would just walk right up to you. I mean, they were more likely to do that when you had food, but still, I kind of felt chosen. I already knew that I loved Hiroshima and I would one day come back to visit, but this was the moment where I decided that I would in fact come back to live here. More specifically, I want to live on Miyajima Island and have a family of deer adopt me so that they can show me how to wrestle little old ladies for their street food. It is time to interrupt this program with a little intermission because my dog was getting restless. So I went to go get him a treat and I figured I could show off some of his tricks. Ready? Sit. Well, I mean, you're already sitting. Good job. Spin. Okay, sit. Spin again. Speak. Speak. Hold on, give me a second. Speak. 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 Okay, ready? Come here. Sit. This one's my favorite. Ready? Too early, dude. Redo. Action. Bang. 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 Okay, here you go. Wow, good job. He's the best. Yeah, woo. Go Toby. Yeah. Little rascal. But yeah, if you go to Hiroshima, highly recommend the okonomiyaki and also petting wild deer. Just life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. And to your right, you will see another deer being a menace to society. I think he's trying to cut some coupons. We spent basically the whole day exploring Miyajima, admiring its famous torii gate, petting all the deer. I enjoyed myself so much that when it was eventually time to leave, they had to drag me off the island, kicking and screaming. Oh dear. Hit my dad joke quota for the day. We also saw Hiroshima Castle, which had some fun samurai exhibits with displays of armor and katanas that reminded me of one of my favorite games that I think I already mentioned in this video, but I'm gonna say it again. Ghost of Tsushima! But the last night was a particularly emotional one because I couldn't bear the thought of leaving that city. I just stared out the window of my hotel at the breathtaking view until I physically couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. On an unrelated note, here's me having Shake Shack for the first time. We need one of these back home in Ohio. Now for the penultimate city. Sorry, I just wanted to insert a fancy word that I hardly get to use. Anyway, we made it to Kyoto. It's definitely the shortest city that we saw during our travels, and by short I mean like physically short. Not a lot of skyscrapers, like the buildings are short. But what it lacked in height, it made up for in culture and delicious cuisine. Speaking of food, the first activity on our agenda was another food tour. The first part of our tour was an hour-long walk through the Gion district. I hope I pronounced that right. The food that we had was so good, and I don't think I have any videos or photos of this, but it was my first time ever having Wagyu beef. I also think you can find it in another famous dish called tonkatsu. Oh my gosh, tonkatsu is so good. Literally, all the food in Japan is good. That's another thing that I really miss. I want to go back. I want to go back just so I can bring home a lifetime supply of tonkatsu and ramen and sushi. But I enjoyed every second of the 3 hours that we spent with our tour group. It was one of those situations where we all started off as strangers, but by the end of it, we felt like we had known each other our entire lives. Hi, buddy boy. Sit. He did it without a treat. You need a haircut. Look at that beard and mustache and those eyebrows, girl. The next day, we had a 9-hour tour of Kyoto. And it was hot, but trust me, it was worth it. Cut to the next highlight of the trip, please. Look, So cute. After an extremely long and excruciating trek up a bloody mountain, we finally made it to the monkey park. Just hanging out with my new buddy. We're besties now. How's it going? We're having a very riveting conversation. There he goes. That's fine. Oh, look at this one. Look at how little. I love how here we're in the cage, not the other way around. Between the macaques in Kyoto and the wild deer in Hiroshima, Japan, for me at least, was heaven on earth. Being from Ohio, the most exciting thing we get to see are squirrels wreaking havoc on everything, trash bandits stealing, well, trash, and skunks waddling around waiting to stank up your day. But the best part about the monkey park was getting to feed them. Next, we got to see the Golden Temple, which was without a doubt exquisite, but me personally, I'm not a huge fan of tourist traps, and that's exactly what this place was. Don't get me wrong, I didn't travel to Japan expecting zero crowds, but the crowds in Kyoto were overwhelming. I did love the city, but I'm not gonna lie. Some of the oversaturated areas kind of took away from the personal and spiritual connection that I was hoping to have with some of the historical landmarks that Kyoto's really well known for. But I'm glad I got to see all of these landmarks at least once. My gosh, the sun just came out. It's bright out here. Bright, just like your future. Speaking of bright futures though, after visiting Japan and taking everything I've learned from that wonderful country, it makes me optimistic to think about our society over here in the US and how great it can be if we all traveled more and learned about all these different ways of life in other countries and how we can implement them over here and combine them with the culture that already exists over here. I mean, think of the possibilities. Again, the bullet trains, the Toto toilets, the social culture of respect. Seriously, I got home and one of the first experiences I had was being in a public space and some dude was blasting his music on his phone. Love your taste in music, but do I need to hear it? No. No, I don't. Also, do I need to hear your entire conversation with somebody on the other end of the phone on speakerphone? No, I don't. I love y'all. I really do. I feel privileged to share this planet with you every single day. And I'm sure your taste in music is wonderful, but I don't want to listen to it. I really don't. Anyway, back to Kyoto. We got to wind down for the day with a slightly more peaceful walk through a bamboo forest that led to a park with even more impressive views. The next morning, we got up bright and early, found an adorable cafe with some of the best coffee, and seriously, Japan knows how to do coffee. And this is coming from a pour-over snob. I'm not gonna lie, I grind my own coffee. I have my own morning coffee ritual that I live by every single day, and I was impressed by the coffee in Japan. Then we started on our final tour of the trip. Thank goodness. Not that I didn't love the tours that we did, but after a while I realized that some of my favorite days in Japan were the ones where we had nothing planned. We explored the grounds of the Imperial Palace and Nijo Castle. These tours went a little deeper into Japan's political and military history, which I found super fascinating, especially after watching Shogun. Again, another show, if you haven't seen it, it's a must watch. And last but not least, the city of Osaka. I loved that place so much. I was so glad that that was the final stop on our trip. If I could use one word to describe that city, it would be lively. It also reminded me of a lot of cities that I visited back home, and maybe that's why I connected with it so well. Oh my goodness, the sun is getting stronger. Thank God I put on my sunscreen. Which, sunscreen in Japan, it's a must. We only had one full day in the city, but trust me, we made the most of it. This place felt like the shopping mecca of the world. And the way everything was consolidated and close together, it kind of had this theme park vibe. And speaking of theme parks, we actually were really close to Japan's Universal Studios. Sadly, I didn't have the extra time or funds to go, but I promised myself I would go next time. I had some incredible street food called takoyaki, which is essentially fried octopus balls. Trust me, it tastes better than it sounds. I got to see an even better view of Osaka from the top of a Ferris wheel, and having a cart with a see-through floor, in addition to the fact that it was raining hard that day, made for a really magical experience. Next up, I had my final milestone experience of the trip, the Osaka Aquarium. I'm actually not going to talk too much during this part of the video because I just want to let the marine life do the talking. Okay, you caught me. I lied when I said that the aquarium was the final highlight of my trip. What really sealed the deal and made this the greatest trip of my entire life was going to a conveyor belt sushi restaurant. Top tier quality food, all you can eat, it was pure bliss. This is the place, Chojiro, where I had a spiritual experience with sushi. And I couldn't have asked for a better way to end my trip because I was in fact going home the next day. Before I conclude this video, I do want to say that before I left for Japan, leading up to it, I had this deep feeling in my soul that this was going to be spiritually transformative for me. And I was right. It opened my eyes in so many ways that I don't even have the words to describe. And I'm also tired of using the same adjectives over and over and over. Cool, awesome, incredible, blah, 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 blah. But seriously, my first trip to Japan will absolutely go down as a major milestone in my personal life. I learned a lot, but this trip also woke me up. And I'm gonna get deep for a moment. Because Japan was so new and exciting for me, I was so excited to go. But I was also really excited to document my experience along the way. But I found myself quite a few times viewing everything through a literal lens, but also through the lens of being a content creator. Life is so precious. I cannot emphasize that enough. Exploring a brand new country and a culture that I am not familiar with. Well, I'm a bit more familiar with it now. Becoming familiar with it and observing everybody in Japan and getting to live their life for a little bit and see what they get to see every day. I just realized how special every single moment is in all of our lives, not just mine, in yours as well. And I feel like sharing moments in our personal life can be such a beautiful thing, but I think balance is necessary. And striking a balance on this trip between, saving certain things for just me and keeping that sacred and balancing that with the content creation side did get difficult at times. The world of content creation is truly infinite. I mean, we can grab our phone or a camera or whatever at any time, and we can film whatever we want and do whatever we want with that footage. But the moments that we get sometimes, especially moments with loved ones, those are fleeting. Those are sacred. Sometimes as much as you want to capture those moments on camera, sometimes they're better experienced in the moment without these. I am so glad that I was able to take as many videos as I did and get all of the photos that I did, because now I get to look back at them and almost re-experience them again. So again, there's pros and cons, but balance is the key. When I eventually go back to Japan, I want to be there. I want to be present, and I'm not bringing this thing. Well, I have to bring my phone because, safety. I have to be connected, but I think I'm gonna turn the camera off. Anyway, back to my trip. I am eternally grateful for all of the kind strangers that I met along the way that offered a helping hand when it was most critical. I don't think any of those people actually had a clue as to how invaluable they were in my navigation and my mental and emotional health. Like I said, the first thing I experienced when I stepped foot in Tokyo was a bloody panic attack. Even though a lot of the signs in Tokyo did have English subtext, getting around was really confusing. But with patience and perseverance and a lot of help from the locals, I survived. And that alone is a major accomplishment. Everything, and I mean everything about Japan, was even more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. No pictures, movies, or video games will ever be able to capture the natural beauty and the vibrancy of the culture and the people. Traveling is such a privilege that I hope everyone gets to experience, if you want to, of course. It will open your eyes to all of the ways in which the society and life that you know could be improved, but it will also make you appreciate what you already have. The wind just started blowing. Even nature's like, yep, she's right. And traveling won't just help you learn about cultures, people. It'll also teach you about your own personal tolerance level and resilience. For example, I learned that sea urchin, delicacy or not, is fucking disgusting, in my humble opinion, of course. But if you like the taste and texture of slimy sea trash, oh boy, do I have the bottom feeder for you. Urchin had me lurchin' for the nearest Toto toilet. Yes, I did just say that. Going to Japan was such a dream come true. I am beyond grateful for this opportunity. I will be counting the days until I eventually go back and stay there for good in the literal and spiritual sense, because I do plan to die there. Oh my gosh, this wind. But if any of you out there have ever been to Japan, please share your experience down below. Also, feel free to give me recommendations on anything else I should see when I go back. All right, enough of my rambling about Japan. I'm sure there will be more than enough of that going forward. And by that, I mean I will be insufferable when it comes to Japan-related conversations. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed this life-changing trip to Japan. Stay classy, sassy, and a bit smart-assy. I'll see you guys in the next video whenever I make it, because going forward, I definitely will be focusing on having a healthier life balance. I also want to travel more. Toby, do you have anything to say before we go? Thank you so much for sharing. Sayonara.